Hello, Namaskar, welcome, Swagatam. You're with the Versatile Doctor. My name is Dr. Abhinav Atul, and on behalf of TLB The Digital City, I welcome you all to the 22nd episode of Author Interviews. The session, the enterprise, the entertaining interactions where we talk with different authors from different genres and different continents. So, welcome everybody. Today, our special guest author is Mia Sivan, and she is from Israel and she is from Tel Aviv. And the city, she loves her city so much that the city is itself a part of her books, a character in her books. So, without further ado, we'll be talking a lot about her and her books. Without further ado, let me welcome Mia with us. Thank you so much for being with us, Mia. Let us start with your introduction. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm so happy to meet you finally. Uh, Abhinav, can I call you Abhinav? Is
Yes,
it
of
okay?
course.
Yes. Because we've been in touch. You've read all my books and gave me nice reviews. So first of all, thank you for that, and thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be a part of TLB. I'm uh, following your activities on WhatsApp and Instagram, and this is a great honor for me.
It is an honor for us to have you here. So, Mia is actually, uh, you know, an investment banker, an investment management professional, and with her experience, she has brought unique perspectives to romance, and actually not just any romance, steamy romance. And she has published three novels, the three of which are Crunching Her Numbers, Pulling Her Resources, and the third one, Analyzing Her Assets. I think I messed up the serial. The first one
Yeah, it's
was
okay.
yeah, the first one
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. The first one is crunching and then analyzing and then pulling.
okay, okay.
But actually, you were actually okay with the timeline because crunching and pulling happen on the same time, and analyzing a little later in the book timeline. Yeah, not
Yeah.
when I publish them. So, and
Mm.
do you want me to talk about them a little? Shall
Yes,
we do that?
we will. But yes, let me first start with your name. So, correct me if I'm wrong. As I believe, your name Mia comes from Hebrew, which means from God. So, talk with us about your name a bit.
Well, Mia is a very international name. I think you even have Mia in India, if I'm not mistaken, or Maya.
Yeah, Maya is there.
And Maya, you have, and so I actually it's my pen name. My real name is Sivan, which is a Hebrew name, and Mia is an international name that we also use in Israel. So that's why I chose it as my pen name.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So, pen name. And talking about Hebrew, well, English is not your first language, not your mother tongue, and your mother tongue is actually Hebrew. So, there is an interesting story, which I know how you transferred from Hebrew to writing and reading in English, which of course we also can relate to, because even for us our mother tongue is Hindi and we love to read and write in English, and English is something that has brought us together. So tell the viewers about your journey from Hebrew to English.
Yes. In that respect, Israel and India are similar in that there was a British mandate or British rule in both countries. So there is common stuff. But of course, Hebrew is my first language. And I decided to write in English because from the age of 16, when I was 16, my parents relocated to South America, where I went to American high school. And in the American high school, believe it or not, they didn't have any books in Hebrew. So, and I love to read so much. So I just started reading in English, and I never went back to Hebrew fully. because even when you work in finance, a lot of the materials and what happens is in English. Bloomberg, if you use Bloomberg, for example, which is a financial, it's a hardware and software, never mind. But a lot of things are in English, also when you are in finance. So it became a language that for me was very natural to write in. I tried writing in Hebrew, and I just couldn't. It wasn't good enough, or I didn't like it well enough. And so after trying for several years to write in Hebrew, I started to write in English and actually found that that is a better voice for me.
And viewers, if you are watching this, if you are watching us, trust me, the things that she writes, the books that she has written, the stories that she has given us, trust me, don't think about anything else. Go and read them. So, moving on. When did you actually decide that you have to publish three novels back to back? I mean, there are actually authors who churn out books after books. I mean, 3 to 5 books per year. But you have taken a series. That your books, the three books, are part of a series called The Women of Tel Aviv, and you have written 3 books in that. So tell us about how the journey of 3 books and the story rotating around Tel Aviv came into action.
It was a natural development because they always tell you when you start writing, write about what you know. And I think, like I read your book, and when you write about the hospitals and about COVID, it reads very real, right? It reads very authentic. And I wanted in my first books to be authentic. And I am from Tel Aviv. I live here. I love my city, and it was something I wanted to bring to readers. I also get a reaction telling me that so many books are situated in North America, so this is a little bit different. This is almost exotic, even to read about Tel Aviv. So I actually get positive reviews about people saying, "Oh, it's so nice to read about something that isn't in New York or Los Angeles or the usual American small town." My novels aren't small town; they're what you would say urban, because for us, Tel Aviv is a big city. Maybe for it's all relative, but for us, it's a big city, not a small town. And I wanted also to write about something I know, which is finance, and I feel very comfortable with. Also, I find, since my romances are steamy, uh, sex and finance go very well together. So, as you know, um, so this was something also that I wanted to explore, how they both um, work together. I mean, it is workplace. All of my romances are workplace romances. So
Yeah, your romances are workplace linked to workplace, not exactly happening in the office. One of them, uh, pulling her resources. No, no, not the
yeah,
middle one. Analyzing her assets.
analyzing.
Yes, yes, that is an actual workplace romance, and I love it. So yes, I love I love how you say that finances and sex go hand in hand or something like that. That is something I have never heard before, but of course, once I have heard it, it rings true. It was a pleasure reading your books. So it is also a difficult choice to how you balance your romance, your story, and your finances, the things that you are mentioning about the workplace and the financial world, the scams and everything. Because if you put too many numbers inside your novels, people who are not so well versed in the financial markets, they might get alienated. So how did you strike this balance?
Okay, so this my sister is my first reader, so I send everything to her, and she reads it first. And she is as far from finance as you can imagine. She doesn't get it. She doesn't like it. She doesn't understand it. So when she tells me, listen, it was boring or I didn't get it, I know I need to, to adjust. So, actually, she's my, so you take, I think for everyone who writes about something they know, if they take someone who doesn't know anything about what they write about and send it to them and see what they say. And if they're like, okay, I understand you explained the scam well enough. Okay, I get what happened. Then it's okay. But it took me a while to get there because I would omit details because for me they were, of course it happens this way.
Obvious.
But she was like, why? How did we get from A to D? I don't get it. So so she was she helped me. And also people, the finance is the subplot, right? You have the main plot, which is the romance between two people or more. In the first book we have more than that. And then the financial scam is a subplot that is supposed to get the main plot, which is the romance, going. It's supposed to serve the romance, not. And this is also because I am so interested in the financial. I would sometimes, get carried away, write too much about it. No, it is a subplot, and I needed to remind myself that the book isn't about financial frauds. It's about a romance between two people, and that's what the readers want to read about. And if you punch in a few numbers in between, it's okay, because actually, again, I find that people really, really like to read about other worlds that they are not familiar with. It can be the hospital in your case, or a medical school, or it can be financial, the financial world, a large company that manages a lot of money, or a startup that needs investors, etc. They like to read about this world and be immersed in it, but not too much.
Yeah, of course, not too much. But and this is exactly what it felt like, a breath of fresh air. We are so used to the multimillionaires and billionaire romances that these three books, which are, of course, the characters are rich, not poor, and they live in large cities. They work in multi-million dollar corporations. They work with millions of dollars and everything. But the flavor is different, and that is what I liked so much about your book when I first read them. Read the first one, and it was so fresh. First of all, no North America, no Los Angeles and New York, anything. Completely different setup, completely different point of views, thoughts, and a completely different subplot. As you said, the finances, the banking system, that is the subplot. Very nicely put. So right now, let me ask you one very personal question. Do you wish that you had written these books maybe 10 years earlier?
Yes.
This is a very short answer. We need some more details.
Yes. No, but it's a good question, because yes, for several reasons. One is, it used to be easier to be a self-published author. The market wasn't so crowded, right?
Yeah.
You know that. So in that respect, and Amazon has become very hard. It's harder to deal with Amazon now, which my books are in KDP, which means they're in Select, they're in Kindle Unlimited. So the only place you can find my ebooks are Amazon. The print book you can find anywhere, because I'm both on Amazon and Ingram Spark, but the ebook is only Amazon, and it's become a very crowded marketplace. So that's number one. Number two, it's harder now, and I'm being very real about it, to write about Israel because of everything that is going on here.
Yeah.
And there is an elephant in the room. It's the war with with everyone around us, basically. So it's harder. It's a harder sell. It's harder to sell books about Israel.
You are very right. But of course, there is an elephant in the room, and it's very sad that this is happening. But still, ठीक है. We are all in the literary world, and where we go, we turn the pages and forget about everything that is happening outside the pages. That is the whole thing about reading. And
Yes.
you have given people around the world something to immerse themselves in without thinking about the whatever is going on in the news. That is a good thing. Uh, Again, so tell us about your future books. The three are done. The trilogy is done. What next?
So for me next, I actually had a fourth book for the series called The Upping Her Stakes. I had the title, I had everything, but I put it aside for now because of everything that's going on. It's very hard to write contemporary right now, and it when it's still going on. Everything is still going on,
Yeah.
right? Um, so and when I wrote the other books, I could immerse myself in it because it wasn't such an extreme situation. But right now it is extreme, and I can't write a book about contemporary Tel Aviv and not mention that. So I've been thinking maybe to write about 2011. Do you remember the 1% protests in 2011?
Yes, yes, I
Do you
heard about
remember
that.
them?
I heard
So
about that.
it was all over the world. We thought, things were going to change. Of course, they never do. But I thought maybe to place a book in 2011 as a prequel. I'm thinking about it. But right now I do a pivot. I am going from contemporary to historical fiction, and I'm writing murder mysteries that happen in Spain in the 12th century.
So
So
quite a big jump in the time machine. You're
yes,
going from 21st
thousand.
century to 12th century.
Yes, yes, it's going to be. I will change my pen name. I will talk to you again when I change my pen name, and I will. Of course, you are one of my early readers, so of course
And
you'll
fans.
be advanced readers. Yes,
No, no, fan.
and you are. Yeah, but you're also. Yes, I know, and I think you're going to like them as well because they also feature a very strong female character. Because so I'm thinking they're going to be different, but not that different, if you see what I mean. The genre is going to be different. The voice is going to be very much the same, meaning strong female character but not so much sex. Because I'm putting in murders, so I'm thinking sex and murder. There is
Yeah.
a limit to what people
No, actually, sex and murder do get along very, very nicely.
they get along, but it's a different genre. So it's going to be murder mysteries, and the detective is going to be an amateur detective. She's a woman. She's Jewish also. So I am delving into Jewish, Christian, and Muslim relationship in Spain during the Reconquista period. Reconquista was the period when Christians tried to take Spain back from the Muslim, because there was
Yeah.
a great Muslim. So it is going to be, a clash of cultures in the background. In the foreground is going to be murder mysteries and how my heroine is solving murders, obviously.
I can't imagine the number, the time and effort you have to put in the research to put something together in 12th century Spain. And talking about strong female characters in that era, probably the women were not as strong as we have today, and the way that you are going to present it, I'm sure it's going to be very good, and I can appreciate it is going to be very difficult for you to write, right?
So you are correct about women having more of glass ceilings to crush than today, but actually at the time we are talking about, England had a queen that they really, really loved, which was called Eleanor of Aquitaine, and she was a very strong woman, and so you had strong women back then. They just moved in, within a different framework. And so I am trying to make it realistic. It's not like my heroine is going to have a cape and she's going to zoom from city to city and throw lightning on people. No, she's going to work within the framework of both being female and Jewish and woman. Yeah, so everything.
Of course, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it very eagerly. And talking about women empowerment and strong female characters. In fact, to be very honest, the marketplace, the literary marketplace, is actually filled to the brim with material about strong female characters. I mean, strong female characters has become a trope, which it should not be. In my opinion, it should not be. It's a like there are strong male characters in some. I mean, major protagonists are male. Some major protagonists are females. It should be as simple as that. Not like having a strong female character be an asset in of itself, but in your book, in all three of your books, your female characters is the main anchor of the story, and the male characters are actually rotating around, revolving around these characters. So what was your inspiration for your first female character from crunching her numbers?
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah.
So she's Argentinian, and I wanted her to be Argentinian and not Israeli. So she'll be a bit different. She will be looking at people from the outside. And since I used to live in Argentina and Uruguay, I have a good understanding of being of being from there. I didn't feel like I was doing any disservice to Argentinians. And when I started writing the book, I actually worked in a workplace very similar to where Kelly is working. Okay. So I just took stuff from my daily life and I put it in the book and changed it around a bit, used people that I know. I mean, I was very liberal, with my. Uh, okay, and then once they go into the book, though, you have the basis of the character in real life, but the character itself is very different, right? So Kelly is like me, but very unlike me. And she's like me because we have the same profession. I like to think of myself as strong, but I always made her a bit stronger in every, like, she's more, well, I give a shit and she doesn't. Can I say that?
That is a very apt summarization of what Kelly's character is, and in comparison to yours. So, have
Yes.
any of the people who you have based your characters on come back to you
Yeah.
and say that this character
Yeah.
is me?
Well, no, they didn't, but I let two. I have very two good friends. No, more than that. Actually, four. Four friends read the book from, and we all worked together in that company, and they were like, "Oh wait, this is the boss," and I was like, "Nah," because and then they said, "Yeah, it's the boss," but then after we read a few pages, he stops being the boss. He starts being the character
Yeah.
because, of course, they start behaving differently at the so I actually got people are telling me it was so much fun to read about, because also I placed the actual building very, very close to where our real building
Oh.
was, right? So so that was also, the whole environment was exactly the way we used to walk there. Because why make up something if you have the real deal? Yeah, that's the book. I can write this one. So can you see it? Yeah. So I based the scam here about something that happened to a good friend of mine that I knew in real life. And so this book is very close to me, but of course all the sex in the book is made up. I just want to say, before everyone runs around thinking stuff, no, it is all made up.
Yeah, no one is going to believe that.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter, but because when we read it, it's amazing. For the people who don't know the all the sex that we are talking about in the first book, of course sex is always a part of the plot. It is basically a romance in a financial world setup with people you can believe in. It's not like just a male and a female and they go and they hook up and everything. It's
No.
something you can actually get into, you can actually get involved in and talk about and think about the characters, like you may have known someone who thinks like that, who talks like that, who does stuff like that. So that is the beauty of the book that we have in front of us. And of course, I won't leave this conversation without you talking about the cover. I know what the cover
The
means. About the cover.
the what?
The cover.
The cover.
Yeah.
So the cover, I have this lady from New Zealand who does all my covers, and she's very talented. But what I did is I took, so I have real people on my cover because it's easier for the artist also. If you send them a picture, it's easier for them to draw. So on the first book, this lady in the middle is actually she's Gal Gadot, actually, and this guy is Jason Statham.
Slava.
And no, not Slava.
Oh,
Ilan is
oh,
Jason
Ilan is this.
Statham, the dominant.
Okay.
And Slava, actually, I didn't have anyone that I could think of about as Slava. I didn't find any picture. So she just drew, the artist just drew it from her imagination. And then my daughter comes to me and says, "Oh, he looks a little bit like that." And I'm like, okay,
This is funny.
whatever. Yeah, it is. I was like, no, but he isn't. And so, um, no, I'm married to a combination of Ilan and Slava, to a combination of the, so.
Yeah, people who have read this book will know what she means by this, but others, do do read the book and find out what the combination of Ilan and Slava may look like in real life.
Yeah.
So moving to your second book, there was not much of a time difference between the publication of your first book and second book. It was
Yeah.
around less than 1 year, right?
Yeah. True. So this is the second book. Wait, can you see? Analyzing your assets. It always shows the reverse, right? But yeah, because I started writing. It took me a longer time to write the first book, and it took me a long time. You know how when you self-publish, you have to learn everything. So it's not just the ebook; it's the print book, and how do I get ARC readers, and how do I advertise it. So it takes a long time for you just to get out that first book because you're not sure how to do anything, right? But then the second book, I already had the the
baseline.
pipeline.
Yeah.
What to do. So I just needed to write it, and I did write it. It's about and the heroine in the second book, I really like her, even though people sometimes don't, because she's not very nice. She's very like
Bossy.
Kelly is. Yeah, she has actually in this book she has you said that everyone is rich. She makes money, but she gives it all to her family. See, she's very much the main provider for her family, and that makes her like tough, and she fights for everything. And also she has a very low self-esteem in terms of the way she looks. She's a bit overweight, and she's very aware of that because people have been telling that to her. And women, I don't know any woman who would tell you really that she loves the way she looks. Actually, it's a funny statistics. Like if you ask women if they like the way they look, like only 5% maybe will say yes. If you ask men, like 40% will say yes. So it's a very different way. So this all the sex in this book, or a lot of the sex in the book, is about him telling her he likes the way she looks, or
Accepts the way she
and
is.
accepts the way she is, likes the way she looks, and they have this arrangement where he tells her what to do some of the time, and she tells him what to do some, at the
The rest
next
of the
time.
times, yeah.
So this is like what they have. So this is the second book, and the third book took me a little longer because the war started, and I had and it actually pushed the deadline like 2 months because it was very hard editing and advertising, but I did decide to put it out there because it was written, and because I thought it is important to show a different Israel than what everyone sees in the news. So I did have it. And I wanted the beach to be part of this. So he likes to surf. So because Tel Aviv has a lot of beaches. It's a city with a lot of beaches, and I go every week to the beach, and so
So do you like
and winter or
surfing?
summer. What?
Do you like
No,
surfing?
no, I don't.
No,
But
that's good.
no, I tried, but no, I didn't. But the guy likes. It's okay.
It's okay.
You
Of
don't have
course,
to
it's
like.
okay. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Tel Aviv is like a second, actually human character in your books, and you are in Tel Aviv right now, right?
I am in Tel Aviv right now.
And how's the weather there?
It's nice. It's sunny. But it's almost if you really, it's the perfect city to spend winter in. You know.
I can understand that. I can imagine that because here, where I'm sitting, we have a very chilly winter right now, and the temperatures are going down to around 8 or 6 degrees in the night, and it's so chilly. So, and imagining about the beach and the sun, it's a great thing. So
Yeah.
there is a very different flavor in your first book and your third book, even though they are more or less in the same timeline and the characters are overlapping, because the first book is more of the metropolitan vibes, and the third book has more of the ocean, more of the sea, and the surfing. That also is part of a subplot, but that also is a part of the story, that how you're telling it. And this is, and the second book, uh, analyzing her assets, that is a completely different animal altogether, because it is completely a workplace romance. So this is, I mean, it is very interesting that you have written three books in the same city, in the same background of financial markets, but the flavors are so different, and that is very good thing, very impressive feat that you have achieved. Let me just read a few of the comments that we are getting on YouTube. So there is Tanisha waiting. Oh, she wrote this before we started streaming. So Tanisha was waiting. I hope, Tanisha, you are watching us right now. And then we have Yumna. Yumna is also a TLB member. So first comment that she has said, OMG, she looks so beautiful. That is for you, obviously.
That's me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I agree with Sir totally. She's agreeing with me. I don't remember what exactly I was talking about when she wrote this message, but of course, thank you so much. Was there anything new that you learned through your journey of writing the book? This is a question for you. Was there anything new that you learned through your journey of writing the book?
Yeah, okay. So I did. Um, uh, we talked about surfing. I needed to do research about surfing because I don't do that. And it is so I just went to the beach because where I go there are a lot of surfers. And even though Israel really is not doesn't have very large waves or anything, I mean it is a if you want to surf, that's not the place, but people do it because there's so much sea. And so even though they have like the smallest wind, they just catch it. Or not the wind. Actually surfing has nothing to do with wind, it has to do with waves.
Waves.
So even if they have like the smallest little bit of a current, and they go for it. And so I actually had to I learned about surfing for the third book. For the second book, I learned about puppies because I never had a puppy. So I have a very good friend who is a veterinarian, and she was my advisor on all things puppy because both characters adopt a puppy. And so she was advising me on like at what week do you give them shots, etc. So if you never adopted a puppy, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
So and then like last year, my daughter adopted not a puppy but a dog, and now she tells me I have a grand dog.
That is great. That is great. So your
Uh,
grand dog should also be a character in your story, maybe in future books, right?
Maybe, yeah. My daughter says she's a King Charles Cavalier, which is a very English dog, very aristocratic. I don't know how to. I mean,
It will be a good
totally
good challenge.
not from here.
Yeah, of
Don't
course.
know where to put it. So maybe,
Of
maybe,
course, never say never. We have
yeah.
one more comment from Yumna, and she says she's one of the 5% of the girls. The girls who you said don't like how, I mean, 5% of the girls who say they like their looks. So Yumna is
I'm
one of
so
them.
happy for her.
Yeah,
I'm happy for her.
great.
Good.
Good for her.
I think also liking your looks comes with age. Like women get more, used to their looks as they age. They accept them. I think we all learn to accept ourselves better as we age. And in my books also, I try for my characters to be not in their 20s, but older. I think the, you know, so it's not coming of age books. It's actually, dealing with problems when you already are in your 30s or even
Even
40s.
40s, yes. In the
Yeah.
character in your last book was in her 40s, and it was
Yeah.
again saying the same thing, fresh breath of fresh air, because we are so used to the romances where the women are in the early 20s, not even late 20s, early 20s, 20,
Yeah.
21, 22, maybe even teens, because they're of course they have their own characters, they have their own stories to tell, but it gets a little bit boring if you read over and over again about the same type of characters. So
I
there's that.
agree.
And before we move any further, I'd like to address one other aspect of your writing, the steamy part. I mean, when did you decide and how did you decide that your romances should be steamy?
I like to read steamy romance. I don't like closed door, like when like they do something and then boom, okay, they wake up the next morning and you don't, and between that and that, you don't get anything. I don't like it. So since I like to read steamy books, I thought I'd write them, just to write something that I would like to read. So very simple. It's just my taste. That's how I decided. It's my taste. I like to read steamy books. I should write steamy books.
Yeah, and this is the simplest and the most elegant answer anybody can expect. What you write, what you like. When you write something and you don't like the taste and the flavor that you have written for your viewers, how will someone else actually want to read
Exactly.
it? Yeah, I completely agree with you. And so we have talked about your books, all the three of them. We have talked about your future projects which are coming, one of which you are actually actively working on right now, which is the historical romance, and a few of those you have conceptualized but probably not actively working on right now. Let us
Right.
talk a bit about something else, the bonus content that we get. I'm very, very excited to say, and very pleased that your newsletters contain interesting stuff, to say the least.
Okay.
So, viewers who don't know what I am talking about, Mia has her own website, miasivan.com. Please go check it out. And once you sign up for her newsletter, you will get weekly content, which may even contain snippets from her other works, from her chapters from her published work, which are not part of the main books, and also some short stories. I read a few of them, and tell me how you managed to write so much. Writing a book,
It's not that.
yeah, writing a book is a complete full-time job in itself, and then you have to manage your website, and you have to interact with your viewers, your readers, and give them engaging content every week through your newsletters. How do you manage that?
Well, first of all, I don't have that much content. I mean, I thank you very much, but it is really some people have much more. And I do take I the answer is I take my newsletter subscribers very, very seriously. For me, it is the most important thing. It is my most important audience because it is mine. Instagram, I don't know who looks at it or who does like, or even if they read what I write. Same as Facebook, same as all the social media. So for me, the newsletter is the way to communicate with people who read my words, right? So I take it very, very seriously. I rewrite the newsletter. I think about what I put in there. I try to be, generous, or you know, give. I try to tell about myself. I try to give stage to my friends if they have books and they want to, you know, they give them for free or they want to promote them. So for me, my newsletter is the most important way to communicate with anyone who reads Mia Sivan. So that's how I just put time and thought into it.
You give priority to it. And anybody who is listening to us and viewing us right now, do take a page out of Mia Sivan's book. And if you have a newsletter, if you have a website, and you're planning to, create a following, give something back to your readers, because they are what makes you you. A reader is all that makes an author, because you can write anything, you can get it published on KDP, but if a reader is not interested in you, then it all goes to shit. We have
Exactly.
Yumna again. Yumna is saying, okay, she says I'm 18. To the previous comments that we were discussing about 5% of the girls who like how they look, and she's 18.
Mm.
So great for you, Yumna. And what was the reaction of your family members? Did they read your books? Yumna asks again.
Okay, so my sister, as I said, is my first reader. She reads everything. She's an English major, so she's also very knowledgeable about this. And my parents, they don't read in English. So no, the answer is no, they didn't. But all my friends did. My husband didn't read my books. Of course, he knows about it, but it's not the genre that he usually reads. He usually reads mostly newspapers and, news. So it's not, actually, another statistic is that um, uh, 75% of readers worldwide are women. I mean, men read less. They read, but they read less.
Yeah, they read less books. I mean, less, no, I mean, fiction. And in
Yeah,
fact,
less fiction.
less
They
fiction,
read more non-fiction. Yes.
including the newspapers.
Yes, exactly.
So even we have to read a lot in our and emails. Okay, newspapers and emails. That is what we read right now.
Yes. Yes, which I read also, but I cannot go to sleep, for example, without reading fiction. For me, it's like very necessary.
And how do you read on? Of course, proper
Only digital,
on a digital.
digital, only
No,
digital.
no paperbacks.
No, I used to have tons of paperbacks. I still do, or hardcovers. But for me, every new book I purchase these days is digital because it is so much more convenient for me. And I can do the font, whatever size I
Yes,
want.
size.
I can look up a word I do not know. I can look up digital is and you go with your phone or with your iPad and you have your whole library, hundreds of books whenever you want it.
Again, a breath of fresh air. You are the first person who has said this, that they prefer digital to paperbacks. So again, uh, you are actually touching a very raw nerve here. I also prefer paperback. I mean, prefer digital. I have my Kindle and I carry my Kindle everywhere, and it is, of course, it is so convenient. And having a paperback in my particular scenario is, there is a disadvantage. You can't read at night. You can't read without disturbing someone else who is maybe sleeping
Exactly.
close to you. With Kindle, you can read anywhere, anytime. Great to hear that. Now,
And they sync, your iPad and your phone sync. So even if you read on your phone on the bus or whatever, and you come back home, you want to read the iPad, it syncs. So, they,
another
they, they go to the
advantage.
same page and everything. Very, very, very convenient.
And how do you write? Tell us about your writing process.
How do I write?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that I studied a new genre, I needed to decide that I wanted to write murder mysteries. So that took time to decide. But then I thought I really love reading it. Again, it comes from my own likes and dislikes. I love reading historical mysteries. I do. I just so, and it's a way to really learn about another era because you every writer does the research. I'm not going to write about cars in 12th century, right? I'm being,
Of course.
but you do the research. For me, this November, I went to Spain and I actually did a 10-day tour of every city I want to put into my books. And I walked the streets and I ate the food. And I speak Spanish also, so it's for me is a bit it's easier for me, and you get the culture. And so I start with the research because even if I write about something that I know, for example, if I write about a financial scam, I have to make sure it is all public, that none of it is something that only I know, for example, because it could happen.
Yeah,
And I
confidential
don't want,
information.
yeah. So I don't want that to happen. And so I start from research and immersing myself in the world that I want to write about. And so in those books, it was easier because I come from there. But and the new books, it's I needed to do the research trip and to read a lot about it. And then I just tell myself every day, write at least 500 words. Is not 500 words is not much. It's nothing. But once you are telling yourself to write that, you usually write more.
Once you are in the
And
flow.
so
Right.
Yeah, once you're in the flow, and but you have to sit your ass and do that. And since I'm writing now, because again the romances, I knew what I was going to write, but I didn't outline it very very specifically. But this time I did outline, because you need to know who is going to be to kill, who is the killer, who is going to be killed, all the hints on the way. So in these new books, I also do a lot of outlining and planning, more than I did in the other books. And so uh, just a minute.
Yeah. It's
Um,
okay. It's okay.
no, someone is trying to get into the room, because so okay, they went away. I told everyone not to bother me, but
No, no, it's okay. It's
okay.
okay. So, when is this? I mean, when is your due date? When are we getting this new book?
Oh, poof. I really want to say June 2025, but I don't have a pre-order yet, but I'm going to put it up soon. So I think middle of 2025 is realistic.
Nice. Then we will probably keep this, trend of having one book per year from me as Sivan, right? At least.
I really hope I'll have two, but yes, I think you are correct. But it's not going to be Bamia Sivan. I am changing my pen name.
Oh yes, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, you are correct that I'm changing my pen name. Probably have a new website. We'll see. But since it's a totally different genre, I don't want to, confuse people.
Exactly.
So,
Now, I think this would be one of the sensitive questions. Uh, you have written three books. All of those have different flavors of story, and most importantly, your different flavors of sex. Writing about sex, sometimes it is very easy to make it monotonous, or like it is just there for the sake of getting readers or getting viewers, like it's just erotic fiction and nothing else. What is your process of making it organic and integrated in the story, and not make it like, okay, it's just there?
um, my process is like two people when they go. This is not people who are married for 30 years, right? They are developing the relationship.
Yeah.
So when they go into it, if you think about a sex scene like a fight scene, two people or more go into it, and they're not supposed to come out of it the same way they went into it. So if out of the fight scene, someone is going to be maybe wounded, or, have a head injury or whatever. So if they go into the sex scene, they should come out as a different person, because it's internal, it's not external like the fight scene. But if they went in thinking one way about their partner or themselves, they should come out thinking another way, being a little different than when they went in. The sex scene should drive the plot, especially the romance plot, forward. So if a lady came into the sex scene and she thinks, I don't like the way I look, and the guy tells her, let's do it in front of the mirror, and she says, no, I can't do it. But she does it, and at the end of the scene, she thinks of herself differently,
Differently, yes.
right? Because she saw the way he looked at her. She saw it in the mirror. Um, so she is not the same person. That it's not like she changed, 180. She's not a totally different person. Just something small in her changed, but it's significant.
Yeah, maybe a just minor change in the perspective, and it makes the story move forward. Like, there is an end of the chapter and the new chapter has begun right now. And this is very
Yes.
interesting perspective that you mentioned. I mean, thinking about it like that will definitely make the sex scenes more integrated and more organic in the story writing. So we have a few more questions. Muhammad Saad. Muhammad Saad is asking, what strategies or habits do you use to protect and nurture your mental health as a writer?
Ah, very good question. Um, I have from Monday to Friday, I have a group of writers that I meet with every day, and
Wow.
yeah, every day we are four writers. I sit in Israel. I have a friend that is in Japan, and one is in Spain, and one is in the Netherlands. And we all meet every day at the same hour, and we spend the first hour talking about writing, about life, about struggles, about stuff. And then we sit and then we set our goals in the, in the Zoom. You have chat. On the chat we put accountability goals, and then we start working. So for me, this is a support group, and we didn't stop meeting. We've been doing it like for 2 years, and we are very, if someone is not going to show up, she says why she isn't. So this is a way for me to and even when everything around here was very crazy, it wasn't very crazy in Spain or in the Netherlands. So for me, it's a way to go out of myself into a different, I meet people every day that live totally differently than me. And that is very, very, very healthy for my mental being.
That is
Because you
collaboration on a different level.
it's collaboration, and it gives you proportion. You immediately, you're not the center of the world. There's other worlds going on. So this is a way for me to keep everything very and it's very deal, because we meet every day. I have to work, I have to prepare what I want to do this day. And there is accountability also in that, in these meetings that we always do.
Yeah, that is a very interesting thing, and again, a unique thing that I've never heard of something like this. It is a very, very good thing that you have made it so formalized, like it's a routine for you, and it's kind of your full-time job right now, right? And that is
Yes.
very good, very
Yes,
good.
I do other stuff, but every day from in my it's 10 a.m. my in Tel Aviv until 2 p.m. This is the time that is totally dedicated to it. And afterwards, before or after, you can do other stuff. But this is 4 hours every day dedicated to writing, to thinking about writing, to meeting my writer friends from other places. So
Yeah, I hope your writer friends are also watching this. If you are, thank you so much for being there, just being there for doing what you do. Keep doing it. Thank you so much.
I will.
Uh, how do you deal with it and focus on right? Oh, wait, I think I missed one question. Okay, Yumna is back with another question. Not to be insensitive or something, you can totally ignore the question, but I'm curious, how is life there? Do you face any problems with travel or mental stress with ongoing situation? How do you deal with it and focus on writing?
Mm.
I think
Again,
you have partially answered the question. How do you deal with it and focus on writing? Because your group, your support group, is like gem. It's a great thing. But please take the question.
yeah. So we can travel. I did travel. It was travel was limited for a time, but now it's better. And well, you just deal with it. I'm okay. Tel Aviv is not the border, so but you know, um,
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's the spirit, right?
yeah,
Something
sort
like
of.
that.
You have to live. You have to live with the. If you want to keep living in your country, you have to live with what. So
Great, great, great. So I think we have reached 1 hour of our discussion, and it has been very, very unique experience. I'm telling you, I mean, we have had author interviews, and I have myself conducted interviews earlier, But this interaction has been unique in many ways. I have learned a lot from you, especially about the support group and about the discipline you keep, about how you keep your stories so separate and yet so similar. Thank you so much, Mia, for being with us. Before we close, I'm just opening this mic up for you. Anything you want to say, you want to tell the viewers about your books, you want to tell the viewers about yourself, the mic is yours.
Thank you. I spoke a lot. Please subscribe to my newsletter. It's if you go to my website, you can find the link. It's miasivan.com. Subscribe. I'd love to have everyone as a subscriber, and if they like my writing and my voice, as a reader as well.
Thank you so much. Of course, I'm already a subscriber, and I think after this session, many people from TLB, the Digital City, will also like to read what you have written and subscribe to your newsletter subsequently. Thank you so much, Mia, for being with us. Thank you, TLB, the Digital City, for creating this platform where people from around the world can actually collaborate, can actually talk to each other, can actually come together like this. Sessions like this actually make writing and reading a completely different experience. It's not just about what is there on the pages, but we are actually talking face to face, thinking about each other, talking to each other, learning new things, learning about how an author writes, what is their thought process, what is their life like. This is a unique opportunity, and I would like you and us to be connected, and I would like more and more authors to join TLB, the Digital City, and let us keep our collaboration, let us keep our conversation, let us keep our interactions going on. I would very much like to keep getting new and new books from you. I'm very much excited for the historical fiction and your new name, whatever that may be. Thank you so
I'm
much, Mia,
thinking
for being
about.
us. Yeah.
Maybe I'll contact you and ask you which name you like best.
That will be an honor for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, viewers and audience on Instagram and YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking time, and thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for your comments and all the interactions on the likes that you have given us. Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday. Have a great life. Keep reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So we are off.
Okay, I think I need to see. I know what happened. My cleaner lady, I forgot to leave her the money. So now I have to go. Just a minute. I will be with you in just a minute just to say so much thank you. But just a minute, I have to give her the money.
I'm here. I'm here.
Alona?